was just a lad of 10, my father said to me, come here and take a lesson from the lovely lemon tree. Don't put your faith in love, my boy. My father said to me, I fear you'll find that love is like the lovely lemon tree.
Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat.
I like this part. Oh no, he didn't do it yet. He does that.
Oi, oi, oi. My love and I did lie. A girl so sweet that when she smiled, the stars rose in the sky.
Boom, 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 boom.
That's the summer lost in love beneath the lemon tree. The music of her laughter hid my father's words from me.
Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is.
Yeah, there it is. Oh. Well, good morning, everybody. It's a moot show today. We're not going to lie to you. That's going to be just Steve and I in here. But welcome. Of course, you are listening to your Weekly Dose podcast. And, of course, we're streaming to you live here from Orange County, California, every Saturday morning. And hello, East Coast and Delmarva Talk Radio. In the room with me, I got my buddy Steve Silva.
Yes.
And I am your other host, Sean Roberts. And it's just the two of us today because today we are celebrating the life of our friend. And I'm glad that we got to call him friend because we got to interview him.
Yes.
The great Trini Lopez, who passed away this past week due to this damn COVID-19.
It's this hoax everybody talks about.
And did you know it has been 2 years to the week that we interviewed him?
Oh, wow.
It's been 2 years to the week.
It doesn't seem like it.
No, it doesn't.
Wow. Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us today as we pay homage to our favorite radio gods, Mark and Brian, with the hopes, of course, of them getting into the Radio Hall of Fame. It's hopefully soon. Just remember to follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can help them get in the Radio Hall of Fame. And today we're also going to honor Trini, who, in my opinion, was one of the nicest, most honest guys I have ever met.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. And that's what our show is going to be today. It's just honoring Trini. We're going to have a special guest on, which was Trini's songwriting partner for, I'm going to guess, the last 6 years or so, which is Joe Chavira, who helped co-write some new songs for Trini. Mm-hmm. Basically, Trini had always wanted to do some original music, never done it. He met Joe, and they got along, and Trini liked what he heard, and basically took him in and under wing, so to speak, and they started to write together. And so later on today, we are going to be playing one of those songs called "Here I Am," and we're going to also replay the interview that we did with Trini Lopez.
That was a wonderful interview.
Oh, dude, it was like talking. It was like talking to my grandfather. So,
yeah.
But in the meantime, guys, don't forget you can interact with the show anytime you want on our website, yourweeklydose.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at yourweeklydose1, and of course, find us on Facebook. And if you want to email us anything on how you feel the show is going, just email us at yourweeklydose1@gmail.com.
And, of course, if you're unable to listen to us live, you can always download the show for free from our website, as well as iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, Delmarva Radio. Just search for Your Weekly Dose. And most importantly, don't forget to rate and review the show.
Absolutely. And, of course, we were playing Lemon Tree by the great Trini Lopez. Of course, that's our theme song for today because we're honoring Trini. So many good songs that man has done. You know, I mean, and of course he's not known for originals. He started off doing folk music, but turning them into rock songs, basically. But you can get all of Trini's catalog either on our sponsor, which is Amazon, or you can also go to Trini's website itself, which is TriniLopezMusic.net. So that's the big difference there. You want to go to
I was
.net.
Listening to a bunch of his music this week after I found out, and I noticed something that was kind of subtle, but it was in a way just beautiful. He loved the atmosphere that the music created, and he loved seeing the people he was singing to enjoy it, and he interacted with them on an ongoing basis through the songs, with things like, help us, join us, sing along.
Yeah, and I can't remember if that's the reason why, and if we talked about it in the interview with Trini, but I think there was some discussion on why his first record was a live record at PJ's, basically. It's like, how are you going to capture? And I think that's what Frank Sinatra wanted to do and the producer really was to capture that essence of his live shows, because yes, he was a great singer and a great guitar player, in his own right, for playing rhythm guitar and everything, but to capture the show and the essence of the show and the feeling of it, yeah, I mean, that's why his first record was done that way.
He just had such a great camaraderie with anybody who was listening to him sing.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And he took, any song that he covered, that he took or whatever, he truly made it his own. And that was something that was very unique, I think, about Trini. Whether it was a folk song like Lemon Tree, or If I Had a Hammer, because before that, Peter, Paul, and Mary and the Kingston Trio they were folk songs, but Trini took it to a different level, basically, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. If you go back and look, these groups did these songs and they sold a certain amount and stuff, but the one that sold the most was when Trini covered these songs.
Yeah.
So many more people just could feel that vibe he had and got into it. And I think that's what Frank Sinatra saw and captured.
Well,
he did capture it.
He turned it into a pop song or a rock song or whatever. Like even when he covered America from West Side Story, he made that his own too.
Yeah.
It was just, there was a uniqueness about him when he did that, and he did it in his own way, which I admired, and that's why I always liked him. From that aspect.
One of his beautiful aspects was that he was able to avoid the pitfalls and really did it his way. He really did it the way he wanted to. He kept his name like he wanted to, and he sang the songs the way he felt they were. It's like an artist who paints pictures or whatever, and he just paints for what he sees. And if somebody else enjoys it, well, great. If they don't, it doesn't matter.
Right.
He did it the way he wanted to.
Exactly. And not only that, though, but I remember in the interview, too, Trini was talking about, he had other record labels approach him, A&M Records, when Sergio Mendes first started that label and everything. And he had other deals, and he turned them down because he knew that, if he was on Frank Sinatra's label, Reprise, which was a brand new record label at the time, Sammy Davis Jr. had just gotten onto it. Dean Martin had just got onto it, And from my understanding, Frank did it so that way it could put more money in the artist's pocket, basically. And so Trini knew that if he got signed to his idol's label, that he would be bigger right off the bat.
Right.
And sure enough, he waited out and waited until Frank came and saw him and kind of went, okay, let's do this then. And it paid off for Trini.
Yes, it did.
It really paid off. he said no, I think to the 3 other label deals, I think is what
Something
it was.
Like that,
so he's definitely gonna be greatly missed. I know Steve and I, we took when we got the news, man, I broke down hard.
That was awful.
I broke down really hard. And I must say, I need to thank listener Frances, because she actually texted me and told me what had happened. Now, and when I was, Roman and I were looking on the computer. We were actually looking at Bon Jovi songs at the time, and I got the text, and I'm just yelling out, no, and I'm sitting at my computer, and I grab my second keyboard, and started typing in Trini's name, and sure enough, I'm like, oh my God, no, and I just broke down, and I think I kind of freaked out Roman for a brief moment, and he went down and goes, Mom, I think Dad needs you because someone died, and Karen saw on the computer when she walked in, just held me, and I just broke down. And what was ironic is when I was listening back to our interview with Trini, we were talking about him before the interview with Skylar, and it was you and I, and Zach was there too. But 2 years ago, there was also a fake rumor that he had just passed away.
That's right. It kind of threw us off.
And it threw us off, yeah.
What? Wait a minute, we just talked to him.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Yeah, and we did the interview like the Thursday before the Saturday that we aired it, or we recorded, everything that day and what have you. So it was one of the few times that we pre-recorded a show, because normally we do it live. But
he had a schedule that he kept.
Boy, did he have a schedule! The man did not get up past 1 o'clock. And he was up by noon or 1, and noon was early for him, basically. And 1 o'clock, and I remember Oralee, his assistant, who unfortunately right now also is positive with COVID-19, and I was talking to Joe earlier in the week, and she's not doing well either right now. So I hope we don't lose her as well, because to lose both of those, and especially in the inner circle, because people know she's been his assistant for many years,
long time,
very long time. So we're praying for you, Oralee. But anyway, it was just such a treat to have him on, and I got to tell this story to embarrass my mom a little bit. My parents basically, I grew up with Trini mainly because of my parents, and they would go see Trini at PJ's, which was that club in Hollywood, and he was there for, I don't know how many months or whatever, years, I think, basically. But they would, when they had a chance to go see him, they would go, so to me, it seemed like every weekend for them, or maybe it was probably like once a month or something, they go see Trini. Anyway, so I grew up with the man. I grew up with his music. I knew it inside and out. My mom had the first album, Trini Live at PJ's. I knew those songs inside and out. I was still in my crib. I had to fall asleep to his music. And when I woke up, I cried, and my mom had to put it back on. When the song was over, I bitched and cried, and she had to start the album all over again, So, that's how well I grew up with this man. So to get Trini on our show, it was a special treat for me, but I wanted my mom to be here and listen to the conversation and possibly talk to Trini on the phone.
Yeah.
Afterwards. Because we did talk with him another, I think, like 15 minutes after we did the interview. And the nice thing was anyway, so I told my mom, you got to come down. It's a special thing. It's a special guest. It's a surprise. Well, who is it? It's a surprise, Mom. Well, what time do I have to be there? 7 o'clock, Mom. Well, I don't know. And she starts complaining this. I'm like, Mom, come down. Come down. It's a special. Trust me, you're going to like this. And she was just being a little stubborn or whatever. Okay. So I let it go. We did the interview and everything and so forth. And of course, it was great. And we aired it, and I guess my mom didn't listen that day or whatever, and calls me late in the afternoon. Well, how did the show go? Well, it went fine. And okay, are you going to tell me who the special guest was now? I said, oh, you didn't listen? She goes, no. I said, Mom, we interviewed Trini Lopez. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I said, Mom, when I tell you I got something special, surprise for you, you get your kabuki down here to the house.
Exactly.
And so, but I called her the day, too, that Trini passed, and my mom broke down, too, with me and everything. And then I found out that my uncle Oscar, well, you met my Aunt Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband, Sal, got to work with Trini and got to know Trini also very well, which I did not know.
How about that?
For a good period of time when Trini would do certain things in Los Angeles and he needed certain permits or whatever to perform or whatever outside or something like that. He always called my Uncle Sal and they would set it up and everything. So they got to know Trini very well too. So, but anyway, yeah, we're gonna miss him. A great guy. So we are going to give a phone call now to a gentleman who got to work with Trini. But in the meantime, before we do that, we're going to play you one of Trini's songs that I've always liked to, and it's one of those in Spanish, but he does the translation for you in a very Trini way, which I like. And here is Guantanamera.
Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crece la palma. Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crece la palma. Y antes de morir me quiero echar mis versos del alma. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. Mi verso es de un verde claro y de un carmín encendido. Mi verso es de un verde claro y de un carmín encendido. Mi verso es de un cierro herido que busca en el monte amparo. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. I'm a sincere man from the land of the palm trees. But before dying, I wish to pour forth the poems of my soul. My verses are soft green, but also a flaming red. My verses are like wounded fawns seeking refuge in the forest. I want to share my fate with the world's humble. A little mountain stream pleases me more than the ocean. Hey! Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera, Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera. Guantanamera, Guajira, Guantanamera.
Oh, such a good song.
I love that.
It's so smooth.
Yeah.
So smooth. So smooth. Love that song. It's one of my favorites. Alrighty, on the phone with us is a gentleman who got to work with Trini for the last possibly 5 to 6 years or so. He was his writing partner. They have an album out right now called Trini Lopez, All Original Songs. And then also he has a trilogy out now That's a package, CD package, that, again, it's all original music from my understanding. So on the phone with us is Trini's writing partner, Joe Chavira. Joe, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? Nice to be on your show.
Oh, thank you for being on, Joe. I really, really appreciate it. From Steve and I, again, we big fans, of course, and we had Trini on exactly 2 years ago this week. Our deepest condolences to you, my friend. We know what how that you got to work with him personally and everything, and what a big loss this must be for you.
Yeah, it kind of hit me the same way my parents passed. The same feeling when his assistant Oralee Walker and girlfriend called me. He passed it a couple minutes before 5 o'clock on Tuesday in the morning, and she called and broke down, and we both broke down on the phone. It was pretty devastating.
Yeah, Joe, do we know where he was or how he got the coronavirus, or?
No, but it was kind of an accumulation of a few other things too, because everybody has to remember on the 15th of May he turned 83, and he's had some issues before, getting older, and caught pneumonia and had a hard time swallowing food. There's a lot of things starting to break down on his body, so I think it contributed to what happened to him, which was tragic.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was definitely a big shock to all of us, and again, I said, as you and I spoke earlier in the week, I broke down and cried when I got the news, and he was just such a big part of my life overall. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, because I know we don't have too much time, because we do need to play that interview that we did with Trini, but Joe, working with Trini and writing songs with him, what was that experience like?
Well, it was absolutely incredible, because when I was about 5 or 6 years old, my dad let me hear Trini Lopez album, PJs, and my dad taught me the drums to Trini Lopez, and I thought it was fascinating when I told Trini that. He says, who would ever believe if they asked you when you were 7 years old that when you grow up, you'd be best friends, business partners, and a songwriter with Trini Lopez? And when I met him originally, it was at the Indian Wells Resort in Palm Springs. He asked me point blank to play a song, Cold Turkey, right on the piano that was at the La Quinta Resort, and that sparked the whole thing to create something. He said, I've never done in my life, Joe. Let's make history together and do all original songs. And we did it.
Well, you are one lucky SOB, dude, because, I mean,
That's true.
You and I spoke, and you know a little bit of my history with him and everything, and being a musician myself, and, I definitely envy you a great deal, and that you got to work with him, though. When you were writing these songs, what was the writing process like?
Well, it was quick and fast. Number one, backing up again, Trini was with Reprise Records, Sinatra, Dean Martin, right, Sammy Davis, and he said I always had, he was contracted, he was signed, so he had to do cover tunes. He loved it because he made tons of money, but he retired in 81 because he always told me, I don't want to be remembered just as Lemon Tree in the 60s. He says, so in 2015 when I met him, he says, how many songs you've written, Joe? I said, over 800, and I play every instrument and sing. So he said, why don't we make history together and write a bunch of songs? And we never thought it'd come out in less than 9 months. 3 albums, 47 songs, and we also wrote a single for the Coachella Valley that they're considering like a theme song out there, where you have streets of Frank Sinatra Street, all these big names, Bob Hope. They're considering using our song that we wrote, which is on YouTube. Just put Joe Chavira, Trini Lopez, Coachella Valley. So, it was quite interesting. I'd grab the guitar. A lot of people didn't know he plays piano. And I would go to his house and he'd say, hey, amigo, let's write one kind of an upbeat. So, boom, usually about 20, 30 minutes we'd have the song written out. Then we'd kind of perfect it a little bit later. But I have a bunch of videos, home videos that nobody has yet that I'm considering making my own documentary, because of the fact everybody that tells the story of Trini has all the statistics of the old Trini and what he's done. But Trini says, I want you to carry the torch, Joe, and tell people I work to the very end with original songs that nobody's ever heard before. So the videotapes I have of us, home recordings, our tours in Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, I'm going to release it. And I'm just looking for a good team to work with me to get this golden part 2 is what they want to call it, Trini Lopez, that people didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I mean, because I know after we did the interview with Trini was nice enough to send me 2 of his CDs, Into the Future and All Original Songs, with a wonderful letter. Cool. And saying, hey, I finally, got this out to you, and I hope you enjoy it, basically. And, it was fun being on your radio show. And so I have the envelope, the paper, which says, from the desk of Trini Lopez, and the note that he wrote, and then the 2 CD covers framed now, and it hangs on in my studio, and I'm so proud of that.
It's amazing.
That
is great. Well, I want to thank you for doing this, and you just gave me an idea. The trilogy, which is a package set of 3 CDs, 47 songs. Trini and I did a Christian album, a pop rock album. That's the one you got, and then a third one was a Christmas album, all original songs. After we get done, give me a contact, and I'll send you What the World Doesn't Have Yet, the trilogy CD.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. That would absolutely be wonderful. Joe, I noticed on the CD, though, you and Trini not only wrote the songs, but you guys also produced the record itself, too. What made you guys decide to self-produce versus bringing a producer in?
Well, I think what happened is, in the beginning, we felt each other out. And Trini always likes to first have trust before any ability of musicianship. And then it graduated so strong, so fast between him and I. We had a lot in common. His family's from Texas, my family's from Texas. And he always told me the same story. Joe, I've met many people throughout the world and 27 tours, and I love a lot of people, but I trust hardly anyone, and you're one guy that I trust. So we did a couple songs, and it went boom. Instead of 10, 11 songs in a CD, the one that you have, I think has 18, 17 songs, almost a double CD.
Yeah, 19.
And we finished. Okay, yeah. And then he said, let's just do the next one and the next one. And before it, we were on some interview in Palm Springs. Trini's, I'd love to show it to you. He's holding him up like a kid with a candy store, and I'm sitting next to him and the Brian Gala show on NBC. Trini, remember La Bamba? And he goes, yeah, but that was then. Look what I got now. Joe, tell him about it. And he's like a kid holding up the thing, and they're going, okay, Trini, we'll get to that. He goes, no, and he's holding him up like, and it's all on a show that I have it. It's NBC, Palm Desert, Brian Gala, Trini and Joe. Uh-huh. And he's just going, oh, yeah. And then me and Joe wrote these. Joe, how fast do we write them? I go, he was going crazy. And then he goes, amigo, don't let people think I stopped doing stuff in the 60s. You're going to carry the torch. But he didn't say it thinking he was going to pass away. He just... Right. And so with the right person, I have a couple people already talking to me from some big studios that say, hey, you're the only guy with captured all this home cell phone videos of you and him and 3 new albums that is going to be released. And we're working with Bob Frank, BFD out of New York. Mm-hmm. He's a division of Sony. It's called Orchard. But Trini was so smart. He taught me so many things. And he says, remember, Joe, film everything on a little tripod clip thing of us recording, of us writing music, of us traveling on the plane to Sri Lanka or interview. And we own it. And we take our own pictures so we don't have copyright problems. And so now I have that gold.
That makes sense.
In this phone that I'm talking to you with.
That makes a whole lot of sense. No, absolutely. Yeah. And that was the thing, too, because even after, I would talk to Oralee and keep in touch with Trini. Yeah. And it's like, we wanted to do a follow-up because I know that he was working on a Frank Sinatra. He told us he was working on a Frank Sinatra CD. Did that ever come to be, or did that get put on hold?
Yeah, I kind of fizzed out. I just talked to Oralee yesterday. She is like my mom. Trini was like my dad. My parents passed in 2015. And it's that bond. Trini used to tell me, Joe, I've met millions of people that could help me with this, help me with that, musicians. He says, but the guy was usually a great musician, but he had issues, whatever, substance problems, I don't know.
Right.
Or he says, or the guy wasn't very talented, and he's a darn good guy, but I can't use him because he's not talented. So he goes, working with you, it works perfect. So before my mom passed, he called her when I was at a Steve Miller party thing, dedication to Trini. It was before we started working together. He invited me, and he calls my mom in Palm Springs, and the party's going hectic. And he goes, Joe, amigo, let's go in the backyard by the pool, and let me talk to your mom. I said, my mom? I said, all right. So he said, Lillian, your son's talented. He's easy to work with. I want to make him a star. And my mom says, thank you. And, that's how he talked like a, and I used to do this thing and make him laugh. This is really historic what I'm about to say. Before he passed, 3-4 days before he passed, I called the hospital, the regional out in Palm Springs. Nurse quotes Cynthia, said, Joe, I know who you are. You're his business partner, songwriter. I know he's like a dad to you. He's not responded to anybody. Us at the hospital, no one. I said, please put the phone by Trini's ear, and you could put on speakerphone. She said, okay. And I did this thing that I always make him laugh before we record it, an interview, and I went, hey, Trini! Hey, Trini, it's Joe, your amigo! Hey, Trini! And he always laughed. And when she told me her name's Cynthia, I can't believe it. Trini laughed. She goes, hey, Joe, I'm okay. And I went, what? She goes, do it again. So I did it twice. He laughed. He didn't talk the second time. She told all of its family in Texas. And, man, that was like a handprint in concrete for them. They said, I can't believe you got my Uncle Tio, they call him, to laugh and talk. The nurse said she heard it all, and we want you to represent Trini at the funeral and read a eulogy. Just talk about your guys' relationship. So I'm flying out last minute notice tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow.
To do and we're going to Zoom it or whatever, so people, the whole world could see, like the Michael Jackson Staples Center funeral.
Yeah.
But I'll be the one speaking for him.
And is he going to be buried in Dallas?
Dallas, right. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. I saw something, too, going through the whole Facebook thing, Joe, and can you talk to us or give us a little bit of hint or insight about this new documentary film that Trini just signed off on?
Yeah, I just talked to David and Todd yesterday. It's called My Name is Lopez, and that was always spurred because Trini said it was tough being Hispanic,
right,
trying to make it, and so he would refuse to switch his name. That's where that title came up. So I talked to the guys, and they have a lot of it done, but what they don't have is this material that I have, which is all the videos, but more so the last albums that Trini did. Because I asked, when's the last time you really worked with Trini? And I think they said it a couple of years ago or something. And so that's the story behind that. That's why I want to go forward with a good teamwork of production to do Trini Lopez Part 2. And some talk has already been introduced to me to say, Joe, you could play you as your part, and we find actors to imitate Trini's past, but lead it right up immediately to, like John Lennon and Yoko Ono. It's a lot like that.
Right.
He was a Beatle. Everybody knew everything about the Beatles, but then he said, hey, I got a new chapter. Then Yoko came out with that movie and that book, and that's Trini and I guess.
Mm-hmm. And so are they looking on waiting till they get this material from you to complete the documentary and put it out at the different film festivals?
Okay, now that we just talked yesterday. We're going to talk in more detail. I need to email them material that I have, and then we're going to go further talk. But some people that through all these interviews of, AP, Associated Press, Rolling Stone, I met an individual that I possibly I'm going to work with. He wants to write the book that Trini told me to write called Meant to Be, Trini and Joe. And it's Trini says, just tell everybody I worked until the end, not just La Bamba, Lemon Tree, Hammer, 60 Guys. I'm past that. And so I'm going to be working with this individual to do that. And then he's contacted with some movie studios that said, you know, I told them that I'm talking to you now. I have direct contact, so are you interested in a movie? And we're doing a special next month. Chris Gore, a good friend of me and Trini, he wants to put on a bunch of top artists, and I'd host it and sing the songs that Trini and I did, and we'd have other artists. It's scheduled sometime in September. We're putting that together quick, along with this book I'm coming out with.
Wonderful.
And tonight, in local Santa Barbara County where I live, this is another ironic story. Trini and I wrote, our last song was called If By Now, and it's for COVID, to tell the world, be safe, love your family, watch. And he recorded himself. He died on Tuesday, and this thing comes out tonight. And it's ironic. I just thought that we're doing this interview on the day that it's going to air. So the local ABC said, wow, you brand it with American history and Trini and Sinatra and Beatles and Elvis, and air it. So Oralee calls me on Tuesday. I was going to tell him, make sure you guys don't, if you can't get it in your city, I want to now network this half-an-hour music special of Trini and I to the world. But he died on Tuesday, 4 days before it airs. Here's a captain going down with his ship. He's saying in the show, he's behind his piano saying, everybody, Joe and I wrote this remarkable song to help food banks during COVID-19, and he points at the camera in the show and he goes, be safe, everybody, be safe. And then he died of COVID, of what he tried to protect people of. And that's a show, that's his last bit of work that him and I did 6 months ago.
I know you and I talked briefly too, Joe, in regards of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
This is something that after we interviewed Trini, you know, we asked him regarding that, and he was very humble in saying, it'd be nice, but not necessary. But yeah, it'd be kind of cool, and. And after that, I said, we got to get him in. And, of course, I got a little bit more busy with the show, and it kind of fell down to the wayside a little bit here and there. But it had always been in my mind because we had wanted to do a second interview with Trini. But, again, he got busier and busier. And Oralee was telling me about, okay, well, he's doing this now. And I said, okay, well, maybe we'll wait till after that's done, and so forth. And then we'll do the second interview. And we had the hopes of our team going out to Palm Springs to interview him, and me having the opportunity to sit down and play, if I had a hammer with him or something, or La Bamba or Guantanamera or, whatever, just so I can sit down and go, I got to play with Trini, man, and really piss off my mom. So, and unfortunately, it never came to be, and I think that's why it kind of hit us hard with it. But Trini,
I've been bragging about you.
Well, thanks.
I've already, here's the deal is, right now I'm getting hit by every entertainment media, worldwide because of this. They used to nickname me the Mini Trini because we look a lot like, the Mini Trini. And Oralee, her health it's getting stronger now. But anyway, I talked to her last night, and I mentioned X, Y, and Z, that her and I are going to continue legacy, and I want to get this movie done, and I want to call the movie Here I Am, because that's a song when Trini used to tell me, Joe, when Elvis and Frank did I Did It My Way, we got to have something a little bit more original. So I grabbed the guitar and we said, long ago I was just a child. I grew up fast with so many music dreams. And I just And he started throwing words. I was playing the guitar. We got a great violinist. It's a Schwum song. It's his theme song. And so I mentioned you to Oralee last night. I said, I met this guy. He's really cool. He's a big fan of Trini, and he interviewed Trini, and she remembered you.
Oh,
she goes,
wonderful.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
and
great.
I said, I like to work with him. Everybody wears different hats. Donald Trump did casinos, and he did that reality show. And then I said, this guy, meaning you, I bragged about. He said, he hit me right. Like Turnell, he says, you either know you want to work with somebody or you don't. And if he could put together some people we're thinking about, musicians that are top, to do a tribute with what we're doing, plus get them into the Hall of Fame. I go, Oralee, this is a great guy. She says, yeah, I remember interviewing, and then I said, she said, I'd love to do it with you if you're doing, out of all the people in the world, you're doing the eulogy voted by his family.
Right.
So it would be appropriate if you, and even Dave Grohl, because Dave Grohl plays the guitar.
Right.
But she says, but he never met Dave. They never did music together like you. So maybe it's a combo of both of you guys. And she says, and Joe, you know what? I'd like to go up there with you. I said, Oralee, you're like my stepmom. He was my stepdad.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're his girlfriend, his assistant, his companion. I mean, sure. I go, just don't ground me if I don't do it.
Exactly. Well,
don't ground me.
Well,
anyway,
I got to tell this, and I told this to you the other day, but I don't think I've told Steve this though. But I had the day that Trini passed away. I mean, he passed early in the morning or whatever. I got the news in the afternoon. I couldn't sleep that night, and I didn't get to bed till 3:00 in the morning. And finally, when I did get to sleep, I had a dream that I went to Trini's funeral to meet Joe and to meet the filmmakers, to talk to them to see if they could come on the show, basically, on our podcast. Wow. And I run into Dave Grohl at the funeral in the dream. And I talked to Dave, and I'm like, Dave, because of you, I said, Trini influenced you. You have to be the one to push this campaign to try and get Trini into the Radio Hall of Fame. I said, or Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I said, you are already in because of Nirvana. So you've got a little bit of weight here. I said, your guitar is based after Trini's. You copied Trini's and just changed the fret wire on it and probably the tuning keys and the radius of the neck, and that's it. But you're playing Trini's guitar, I said,
I'm going to hire you for my agent. You're good. You're good.
I said, you need the one to do this. And he goes, okay, all right, and convince him, to do this. And then I was thinking yesterday, God, Joe, if we get this done and have Dave present it and be the presenter of it and everything, and how Trini influenced the Foo Fighters, because on Twitter he announced that, and that every record that he's done, he's used the Trini Lopez guitar that he bought back in 92 or 94, something like that. And he's used it on every record. So for him to present it, for you to accept the award on behalf of the family, and then for Dave to perform Trini songs or something, I mean, that would be, I think a really good treat to have that done.
It's first of all, I want to say it to everybody that's listening to this thing, I am the only guy in the world that's done this with Trini originals, and I really strongly credit you. Seriously. I told Oralee about you. She said, what was your feeling about the guy? Because it was always that whenever I talked to Trini about a producer or something, he didn't really care about his credibility at first. He says, well, is he a good guy, Joe? Yeah, I mean, I've known him for X amount. Oh, then he's on the team. And talking to you the other day, and then now this, I got a smile off Oralee's face when I was talking about the bullet points that you're suggesting. She says, good for him. And I said, Oralee, if it works, we got to give credit to him. I mean, we could say, like the Academy Award, thank you to all these people, but he's the first one that's brought this to my attention. That's why I'm sharing it with you. And it's the last living tribe members is you and I. And his family christened the ship even more by saying, you're going to be the guy that will go worldwide talking about Trini at the eulogy. And I said, sure, thank you. I mean, I know he knew the world, but me? They said, yeah, he loved you like a son. So what you're doing is top notch, believe me. Wherever it goes, great effort on your part.
Huh. Thank you, Joe. That means an awful lot. And I do sincerely I do want to get this done. Matter of fact, I've already tried to send a note to Dave Grohl through Twitter to the Foo Fighters. I sent a letter to his manager yesterday, so now I'm just going to wait for a response. If I don't get back to it, I'm going to bug the hell out of that man until we get something. As a matter of fact, I even found out where Studio 606 is up in Encino or Northridge. So if I have to drive up there and knock on the door until Dave Grohl answers, I don't care if Taylor Hawkins is there or not, his drummer. I don't care. Where's Dave? I want Dave. Give me Dave. And to get this thing done, then I will drive up to Northridge. So, Joe, it is it's such a pleasure to talk to you. I can't thank you enough for this. And again, our condolences to you. I'm glad that you're going to be delivering the eulogy. I'm glad the family has picked you to carry on Trini's torch. I don't think there could be a better person to do it because you worked with Trini. You know his habits. You know how he was, and continue to do good things by Trini's name. So, I know you got a big cross to bear and to carry it with you, but I don't think there could be a better person that can do it, though, Joe.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And once again, I compliment you highly. And we've gotten so many, as you can imagine, calls from studios, and I spoke very highly about you just last night. Mm-hmm. Just last night when she was. So again, what you're thinking, what you're planning to do, and what you're currently doing with this. I'll get Oralee on the phone. We'll talk sometime.
Absolutely, and give her my best, would you please?
Okay, I will for sure. And
right.
And if anybody wants to see what Trini and I did last, you just go to we put it on to joechaviramusic.com. You'll see everything about him, the very last moments.
And we're going to put a bunch of links on our Facebook page to it, Joe, and also on our website. We're going to put the links on there too, so everybody can see the last stuff that you guys did together.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. You're very professional, extremely good at high energy. I like that.
Thank you, my friend, and be safe out there too, traveling to Dallas. And please tell his family that we send our regards and our condolences as well.
Okay, sounds great. And both of you guys, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Joe. Take care, buddy.
Okay.
Bye. Bye. Yeah.
It's speechless. So I remember when I was a kid. Actually, I had I think it was a 45 of.
Oh, now you're talking.
Well, it was going, so I was like, I felt like I didn't want to, there was a good vibe going with that thing, and I was riding the wave.
But boy, it was a long son of a bitch, wasn't it?
Great. But I had I think it was a 45 copy of Lemon Tree.
Yeah.
And in our backyard, we actually had a lemon tree. And so I remember playing that and singing and stuff, because I wasn't a big, rock and roller in a sense. I liked the quieter folk stuff, when I was a kid. But I just remember how that song affected me, because I really had a lemon tree and I understood, obviously.
Yeah.
And I would sit out under the lemon tree and cut open the lemons, and sometimes I'd use sugar or salt or whatever to and just eat them raw and sing
the song.
So
we had a lemon tree in our backyard too. And I'll tell you one thing about lemon trees: if you want to take it out, it is a bitch to kill a lemon tree. Yeah. It really is. Yeah. So, well, listen, we're going to play the interview with Trini that we did 2 years ago. So it was such an honor to have him on, and talking to him was like talking to my grandfather. Basically, it was just such a great pleasure for it. So, we're going to play one more song. which is one of my favorites, which is If I Had a Hammer, and it's going to go straight into the interview itself. So enjoy it. Here he is, the great Trini Lopez.
In the morning, a hammer in the evening, all over this land. I hammer out danger, I hammer out a warning, I hammer about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I ring it in the morning, ring it in the evening, all over this land. I ring out danger, I ring out a warning, I ring about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Song, I sing it in the morning, sing it in the evening, all over this land. I sing out danger, I sing out a warning, yeah. I sing about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Got a bell, now I've got a song to sing all over this land. I am around justice, it's the bell of freedom, yeah. It's the song about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Yeah, 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 yeah. All over this land. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All over this land, all over this land.
Alrighty, our guest today is truly a living legend. His career spans over 60 years. He started out as a guitar-slinging singer who left his home state of Texas to pursue his musical career in Hollywood. He was signed to Reprise Records by Frank Sinatra, and 2 years later, he would start his acting career by starring in such films as The Marriage on the Rocks, and one of my personal favorites, I think Steve's too, which is The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
He designed 2 guitars for Gibson, which are now considered collector's pieces. He's toured the world numerous times, performing with other musical legends, including the Beatles, The Ventures, Glenn Campbell, and so many more. With over 70 albums under his belt, please welcome to the program one of my musical heroes and influences, Mr. Trini Lopez. How are you, sir?
Hello, thank you very much. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on our show. We really appreciate it. I can't tell you what this means to me personally, because I grew up with your music. My parents would go see you perform, I believe, at a club in Hollywood called PJ's.
Right.
And they got that album for me when I was a little boy, and I had to listen to it when I woke up, and I had to listen to it when I fell asleep. So, you know, songs like, you know, If I Had a Hammer and Lemon Tree and Kansas City, I mean, all of those were just embedded in my head. So you actually have been a very personal influence on my own music. So I want to thank you for that, sir.
Well, thank you for that very nice compliment.
Thank you. Now, before we get to the nitty-gritty of the interview and everything, the other day when we spoke, you had mentioned that your house was being renovated due to a fire.
Yes,
what
I've
happened
never
with-
had a fire. I've never had a fire in my whole life. I've been around the world like 20 some times. I've stayed at all the hotels and beautiful homes and mansions and my homes in Dallas and on, and I've never had a fire until about a year ago here in Palm Springs, of all places.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But they're renovating the house now and so forth?
Yes, they're renovating it now for about a year now.
Oh my gosh.
My home should be ready. My home should be ready for me to move in about 2 weeks.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
So now you need to have a new housewarming party then.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to do that.
Kind of already had a housewarming party.
Well, Trini, let's go back to the beginning. You're from Texas. Where did you grow up, and what was your family life like growing up?
I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and my parents were orphans growing up in Mexico, and my father met my mother when he was 18, she was 16, and they came illegally from Mexico across the border to Texas. My father did that 3-4 times, and then about the fourth time, he had enough money to propose to my mom. And so he married her. She was 16 and he was 18, and they came illegally to a little town called Ennis, E-N-N-I-S, Ennis, Texas, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours from by car from Dallas. And so they came to Texas to try to better themselves, their careers. They wanted to make more money, and my father ended up having 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys.
Oh my gosh.
So he had to work as hard as 3 jobs a day.
And where do you stand as far as the oldest and youngest? Where are you at in the family, Trini?
I am in the middle.
Okay.
I'm right in the middle, and I have 3 sisters and then me, another sister, my brother Jesse, who happens to be an entertainer also, and he's a very talented guy.
Wow, awesome.
Trini, this is Steve, and I was wondering, when exactly, at what age, I guess, did you first pick up a guitar?
I was about 9. About 9, maybe 10. And the reason for that is because I grew up in a real tough barrio in Dallas, a real tough ghetto. I was born and raised in a black and Mexican ghetto, and I was getting in trouble with the guys in the gang that I was running around with. And my father told me that he didn't like that. He said, I want you to be home when I come home from work. And on the 3rd time that I did not listen to him, he took his belt off and he gave me a real good whipping. Yeah. And the next day, to make up for hitting me, he stopped at a pawn shop and he bought a guitar for $12. And he couldn't afford it. He couldn't afford to do that. But he went in this shop, this pawn shop, and bought this guitar. And he said, "Son," "look what I got for you." When he got home from work, and I said, "Is that a guitar, Dad?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Wow." I was kind of surprised because my father was a singer when he was a young man in Dallas. He played violin, he played harmonica, guitar, and he sang and he danced when he was a young boy. So now he had to, come to America to work hard, and he couldn't afford to stay in show business because he had to support his family. So he said, "Son," he says, I want you. I'm sorry that I hit you." He said, "I'm sorry that I hit you." He said, "But I want you to learn." He said it just like this: "I want you to learn something constructive." He said, and he said, "I'm going to teach you all the songs that I learned when I was a kid, when I was your age in Mexico." And he did, and I started falling in love with the guitar immediately, And he says, I don't want you to run around with those guys anymore. And I did not. I stopped that. And because of my dad, because of my father, I went the straight path. And because of my dad, I got into music. And because of my father, everything is... it's all because of my dad and my mom, who cared a lot for their children. They always cared a lot for us.
Yeah.
They loved us very much, and they wanted us to do the right thing in life. You know, to be thoughtful, to be a nice person, to be a classy person, to respect your elders, and on and on.
That's wonderful, Trini. That's so neat. So with your dad being then a musician, was the rest of the family musical? Did your sisters and your other brother, did they also play any instruments or anything growing up?
The only one that did was my brother Jesse. I only have one brother.
Okay.
And he's about 6 years younger than me, and he has traveled quite a bit in the world, and he has done very good engagements. I recorded him, but nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened for my brother Jesse. But he got married, and he settled down in Oregon. And the only one that sang was one of my sisters, Lucy. And Lucy and my dad, when my father used to work in all these big hotels as a maintenance man, they found out that my father could dance and all that. And every Christmas or every New Year's, they would invite my father and my sister to do some Mexican dances, traditional Mexican dances for the hotels, big hotels in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And they're the only ones that did anything like that at all.
Well, so were those the Florico dancing?
Flamenco dancing,
Yeah, okay.
And real typical mariachi music and all of that.
Trini, you were 9 years old. You started playing. What kind of music were you listening to then? Who were the people that might even have influenced you musically as you started out with this guitar?
When I was when we could afford to have a radio, I started listening to Bill Haley and the Comets.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I started listening to Elvis. And then people that I got to meet later on in life besides Elvis, I got to meet Fats Domino and Little Richard and all those people.
So basically,
I learned a lot of, by the way, rhythm and blues. In those days, it wasn't called rhythm and blues. It was called cat, K-A-T, cat music. And it was all black artists.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Why was it called that, Trini? Do you recall?
Pardon?
Why was it called cat music? Do you recall?
I have no idea. Okay. I never asked, and I just loved Fats Domino's music and all these people that were doing very well, but they were only played. By the way, they were only played on special stations. They were not played across the board, like they say. They were all black music type programs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was interesting because I love their music, and then as soon as the 60s came along, they started getting into the mainstream of music. Fats Domino and Elvis.
Right.
Even Elvis was considered they thought he was a black guy.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Now, after learning to play the guitar, Trini, how quickly did you form your own band? Were you like a teenager, or were you a little bit older?
I started real young with a little group. By the time I was 11, I was playing with a real nice little group, and we would play parties. We would play weddings, bazaars, fiestas. We would play in the back of one of those trucks, those 18-wheelers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would open up the back, and there was a stage for us.
Wow, that's pretty cool, though.
And listen to this. We would open up grocery stores.
I believe it. I believe it because I have heard stories where other artists had done that in the past just to kind of get their career going and to get their name out there and everything.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Now,
so let's just say that I paid my dues.
Yes, you have. Absolutely. Now, I read somewhere that you knew Buddy Holly's father. How did all that come about?
Okay, he wasn't his father.
Oh.
It was his aunt. Buddy's aunt was a teacher in high school where I went to high school in Dallas, and she used to tell me about her nephew, that he was a singer and this and that, and then I started listening to him on the radio, and then by the grace of God, he comes to a little town outside of Dallas called Wichita Falls, Texas, and I was doing a show. By that time, I had a much better group, and I was making a little more money, and I was working at a nightclub in Wichita Falls, Texas, and Buddy was in this little town promoting That'll Be the Day.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Peggy Sue and the disc jockey, the disc jockey that he went to do his show to promote his single. He said, he says, Buddy, he says, when we finish the interview, there's a friend of mine working in a nightclub here in town, and he's pretty good. I think you would enjoy seeing him. Would you like to go have a couple of drinks and listen to him? And Buddy was a real down-to-earth person. Uh-huh. He said, "Oh man, no problem, sure." So they went to this little club in Wichita Falls, and after the show, Buddy wanted to meet me.
Wow.
So I already knew the disc jockey that he was with, because he's from Dallas too.
Okay.
His name was Tommy Garrett, and we talked in my dressing room, and he said, "Trini, you're pretty good." I said, "Oh, thank you, buddy. My God, thank you." He said, "How would you like to meet my record producer?" I said, "Oh, you kidding me?" He said, No. He says, "If you can make your way from here, from Texas, to Clovis, New Mexico," he says, "I'll introduce you to my record producer, the one who's doing all my hits right now, and he has a lot of connections with record companies." I said, "Wow," and I couldn't believe it. And so a week later, I finished my engagement in Wichita Falls, and I packed my guys in my band. By that time, I had 4 guys and me, 5 guys altogether in the band, and it was Trini Lopez and his combo. I made my way to Clovis, New Mexico, and we stayed in a little motel down right next to the studio for Elvis, where where Buddy recorded, where Buddy was recording all his hits, and we were paying $2 a night at the motel.
Wow.
You believe that?
Yeah, and that's without a reservation too, right?
That's without a reservation.
That's awesome.
And,
so you got the
so there was a party that night, and Buddy said, "Trini, do you mind, entertaining us tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, no, are you kidding?" So I did like half an hour. The next day, the guys in my band, they were all Anglos.
Okay.
You know what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right now, I'm listening to my radio station in Palm Springs, and listen to this.
Hey, that's Trini Lopez on the radio.
That's me.
You make you happy when you make me cry, and you broke my heart, so I said good.
I love that. I gotta get a radio station now and listen to myself.
Can you believe that?
That's awesome. That is
was
great.
one of my hits. Gonna get along without you now.
Is it weird hearing yourself come out of the box? The radio?
No, I still enjoy it.
Yes, that's awesome. So many of us don't like to hear ourselves, so that's cool.
So
you
anyway,
like that.
so now I'm in Clovis, and I did a show for Buddy Holly and the Crickets, and they had a real good group there, and we had a real nice party. And unfortunately, Sean, I grew up with a lot of prejudice in my life. I don't know if you know too much about that.
No, I don't.
Chicanos and the blacks were very prejudiced against in the 40s and 50s, especially the 40s and 50s.
You know,
60s some, but mainly the 40s and 50s. And my guys in my band were all Anglo guys, and they got jealous because Buddy liked me, and the producer was real nice to me, and he said, I'd like to talk to you about getting you guys a record deal. And my guys in my band got real upset.
That's one question I wanted to ask you, Trini, that we had written down was that obviously there were not a lot of Latino performers in the 50s and 60s. I mean, basically...
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, basically there was Richie Valens, and then you came along a few years later after Richie's passing. And that's one thing I was going to ask you did you get a lot of pushback during your career because of your heritage?
Yeah, because of my being Latino, and the guys woke me up the next morning around 8:00 in the morning. I used to sleep till 2:00 in those days. Now I sleep till 1.
Wow,
me too.
That's a good life.
That's in the afternoon.
It's fun.
So anyway, they woke me up at 8:00 in the morning, and they got all around my bed, and they said, "Wake up, wake up!" And I looked at them, and I said, "What time is it?" They said, "It's 8:00. I said, 8:00.
Wow.
And I said, "What's the matter? What's the matter? Is everything all right? Did somebody die or something?" They said, "No." He said, "We had a meeting. We had a meeting this morning. They got up early, man, to do this." They said, "We had a meeting. We had a meeting this morning, and we have decided to go commune with the group. We have decided to go commune. I'll never forget that word as long as I live." And I don't know what I said. What does that mean, commune?
Sounds like to me they were Catholic also.
Yeah.
And
they're going to be hippies.
Community property.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a community process. I really don't understand. He said, "Well," he said, "You know, you're the manager of the group. You're the lead singer. You do the lead singing, and it's your band, and it's your equipment, and your car, and everything." And they said, we want to go commune. That means all of us will make the same amount of money, and we're not going to let you sing anymore. All of us are going to sing.
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Wait a minute. You guys don't know how to sing." I knew that. I knew that. And they said, "Well, we're all going to sing." I said, "Oh, God." So listen to this. I spent about 8-9 days crying myself to sleep every night because they wouldn't let me sing. We recorded in the studio where Buddy Holly had just finished recording some of his big records. And so as soon as we finished those 9 days of recording, oh, by the way, we did nothing but instrumentals. They didn't know how to sing.
Wow.
But they wouldn't let me sing.
Trini, where do you think this jealousy came from, knowing that you kind of had the help from Buddy Holly himself?
Okay, can you tell me that in a little different way?
Sure. I mean, here you have this band. You're the leader of the band.
Yeah.
They're getting jealous because you're getting signed, but yet did they not realize that they were going to be a part of this wonderful journey as well?
Well, they were stupid.
Okay.
That's a good answer.
I have to be
Moving on.
No, that's no.
They were dumb.
Yeah, because
listen to this. I took them all back to Dallas like a taxi driver, and I ran out of money because I used to give all my money to my parents. So I ran out of money for gas, and I had to call my father, and he sent me some money, and we got in the car, and we're on our way back to Dallas. Oh, by the way, when we were getting the last few dollars for gas, in those days, you guys are too young, but in those days, you could buy a Snicker chocolate candy, a Snicker for 5 cents.
Steve's nodding his head.
I remember that. I do.
Steve's the oldest out of all of us, so he can definitely relate. Yes, Steve's in his mid-60s, Trini, so Steve can relate.
I get my last nickel that I had in my pocket, and I get in the car and I started to eat it, and they grabbed it from me, and they said, "No, wait a minute.
What?
Remember, No, they said, no. He says, remember, community property. And they all took a bite of my candy. I ended up with a little chunk.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So now I dropped them all off in Dallas. And the last guy that I dropped off was the bass player. His name was Earl. And I said, Earl, I said, good luck to you guys. He says, what do you mean? He says, I said, well, I'm gonna go on. He says, wait a minute, we may get a deal with Columbia Records. Buddy Holly set it up. We may get a deal with Columbia in New York. I said, you guys are, not me.
Wow.
Right.
So I said goodbye to him. I never saw him again, and they never did anything.
Serves them right for taking your Snickers.
Would have been different if they took it
See,
from
that's
me.
what happens when you take a Snickers from a celebrity like Trini Lopez, man. You go nowhere.
They make commercials with
You
this.
go
Yeah, they go nowhere.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Now, Trini, you then came out here to Hollywood. What made you decide to come out to Los Angeles?
I always wanted to come to L.A. I always wanted to come to California, sunny California, since I was a kid. When I started making enough money to go to the movies, I used to love to see movies, and they were mainly about L.A., palm trees and mountains and all of that.
Right.
And I always enjoyed that very much. And so I said to myself, one day I'm going to go to L.A. And listen to this. You're not going to believe this, guys. Listen to this. By the grace of God, Buddy Holly gets killed. Gets killed. I am now making $800 a week in Buddy Holly's hometown of Lubbock.
Wow.
Holy sh!
800.
And that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, it's a lot of money now.
Yeah.
And I was working at the Millionaires Club in Lubbock, Texas, Buddy Holly's hometown.
Right.
So now the same disc jockey, Tommy Garrett, the same disc jockey that introduced me to Buddy in the first place,
right,
in that little town of Wichita Falls, Texas, he calls me up. He calls me up on an intermission. He says, Trini, this is Tommy. I said, hey, Tommy, how are you, man? He said, oh, I'm fine. He says, I'm here in L.A. I said, you're in L.A.? He was from Dallas, this guy.
Uh-huh.
He was a disc jockey in Dallas. And I said, you're in L.A.? He said, yeah. I said, what are you doing there? He said, you won't believe it, man. You're not going to believe it. Guess who I'm with? And guess who wants you to go on the road with him as soon as you can get to L.A.? I said, who? He said, the Crickets.
Wow.
You believe that, man?
Gee, so you came out to Los Angeles to be a part of the last two members of Buddy Holly's group?
Yeah. There was three left, three.
Now, was that with Waylon Jennings when Waylon Jennings was playing bass?
Well, there were some of the guys that joined Waylon Jennings later.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get to Hollywood.
That's
I
amazing.
had $200 in my pocket because I gave all my money to my mom.
Because you're a good boy.
I love my parents. Love my parents. They were the greatest people in the whole world. I never finished high school. I had to quit in my junior year to help my dad financially.
Wow.
But I learned more from my parents than any school I ever went to.
Wow, that's great.
They were so classy. They were so nice. They were so down to earth. Anyway, so now Tommy Garrett says to me, when can you come out? They're ready for you to come out here, and they want to start working. They want to go on the road and all of that. They want you to be their lead singer. And I said, oh, my God. I mean, I nearly dropped the phone,
Wow.
And I said, is this for real, Tommy? He said, oh, yeah. He said, we're going to sing you an airline ticket, and you come out here as soon as you can. When can you be here? I said, in about 2 weeks. He said, okay. I said, but I'll tell you what, Tommy. I said, send me the cash, and I'll drive to Hollywood.
There you go, because gas was cheaper. There you go. Yeah, easy way to do it.
I mean, I wanted to stay there. I don't want to go for a plane ticket and then come back in a month. I said, no, I want to stay. Whatever happens, I want to stay in L.A.
And if they sent you the
so I get to Hollywood, and they had a beautiful home. You know what a cliff-hanging home is in Hollywood?
Yes.
Okay. Overlooking the whole world out there. Beautiful, beautiful. The only problem was when I got there, the guys, the crickets were from Texas, and they love to drink. They love to drink, and they love to party. And, man, they had women all over the place. I didn't mind the women.
Okay.
But I didn't even drink anything in those days. Now I drink beer, but I didn't drink anything in those days. And I had $200 in my pocket. So now the guys were just partying and partying and partying every night for 2-3 weeks. And now I'm out of money, and I didn't want to borrow money from them. I was embarrassed. So I said to their agent, I said, it was Danny. I said, Danny, can you try and get me an audition somewhere in L.A. here, somewhere, so I can make some money, because I don't want to borrow from the guys. And the guy says, oh, I didn't think he was going to do anything. He was a bit of a Hollywood character. Uh-huh. And he said, I'll see what I can do. I said, okay. About 3 days later, he comes over to the house. He says, Trini, there's an audition that I got for you. They want you to audition for a girl singer named Joni Summers.
Okay.
Have you heard of her?
No.
She had a couple of hit records on on Warner Brothers. A couple of hit records.
I'll have to look her up then.
And in her day at that time, and they want you to audition for her in a nightclub in Beverly Hills. I said, "Oh wow, Beverly Hills! Ooh."
Trini's getting excited.
I've never been to Beverly Hills in my life at that time.
Right.
And he says, I'll pick you up tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I said, you got it. And I put my guitar and my amplifier in his beautiful car that he had in the trunk of his car. And we drove about 25 minutes to Beverly Hills. And, oh, man, you talk about beautiful. You talk about a beautiful city. So now we get to this real nice nightclub. They call it the Little Club. It was an English pub. English pub, and they call it the Ye Little Club in Beverly Hills. And so we walk in, and the owner of the place, he says, how you doing? How you doing? Okay. He says, okay, kid. He says, set up. So I set up my guitar, and there was a microphone there, and he says, okay, do your thing. So I started doing a song that was a big hit by a friend that I got to know later the rest of my life, Dean Martin. He had a hit record at that time called Sway. It went like this. When marimba rhythm starts to play, dance with me.
I love that
Sway
song.
with me.
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that song?
Yes. Steve and I totally remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of his big hits. And so that's all I sang. I did about 8 bars. When marimba rhythm starts to play, dance with me, sway with me.
Skylar's 20 years old and she's dancing over here.
I know. I love that song. It's awesome.
And he stopped me. He said, okay. And I looked at him, and I didn't think he liked me. He was kind of a brash guy, in Hollywood character.
Right.
And he says, okay. He says, you open tonight.
Whoa.
I said,
Save
what?
your voice. You'll need it
He said,
tonight.
you open tonight. I said, oh, no, sir. I said, I'm with a group called... He said, no. I don't want you with no group. I don't want you with a group. I just want you by yourself with your guitar and a spotlight.
Wow.
And you open tonight if you want it. And he says, and he looked at me, he says, take it or leave it. And he started to walk away. I said, excuse me. He turned around and said, I'll take it. He said, okay. He says, everybody works here for 2 weeks. If they really like you, you stay 4 weeks. Nobody stays here more than 4 weeks. And I was working with people like Jack Jones.
Wow.
Yeah, they were on the way. They were on the way up the ladder of success like me.
Jesus.
And everybody stayed 4 weeks. Jack Jones stayed 4 weeks. All these jazz slingers, all these people stayed 4 weeks. Guess how long I stayed?
If my memory serves me correct, I think you were there for about a year and a half?
A year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Trini, it's really interesting because hearing this story from you, you travel out here, you bring your guitar and everything, you go up on stage, you do this audition, you nail it.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, like you just said, it was just you by yourself, you and your guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, though. I know a lot of the songs that you did were folkish type of songs. But yet,
well, there was some of that. I did everything. I did all kinds of songs.
But
I did a lot of folk because at that time, folk music was really in.
Okay, but you played it on an electric versus an acoustic. Was that a conscious decision that you made?
Yes, because I knew that I needed a big sound because nobody wanted to hire me in L.A. with not even a trio. They didn't want to pay the money.
Got it. Okay.
So I had to make the best I could out of my my Gibson guitar, and that's where I learned to get a lot of rhythm. I even had a lot of backbeat and lead and everything. I did it all myself.
Wow, that's just amazing.
Because I had to. I didn't want to, but I had to.
Right. So how did you go from that club then to ending up at PJ's?
Okay, so because I stayed there a year, I kept hearing about all these different places that were doing real good in Hollywood. And by the way, the Crickets never did anything. They never had a hit record or anything anymore.
Right.
Nothing after Buddy. So anyway, so now I kept hearing about a place called PJ's. I kept reading about it in the trade papers. I used to pick up some trade papers, and I used to know that Sinatra went in there all the time. And I said, "Oh my God, Frank Sinatra, my idol!" And I wanted to just see him in person, walking down the street, and he would have made my whole life, my whole life. But listen to this. By the grace of God, I started getting a big following at the Little Club, the Yale Little Club. I had the young Hollywood set. People like Connie Stevens.
Yeah.
Connie Francis. People like all these Bob Conrad, all these people that had series going and everything. But then I started hearing that PJ's was where all the higher echelon Hollywood A-listers went to that place. And I said to myself, I gotta work there.
Right.
And I just, it was mental. I got my mind set on that. And I said, I gotta see Frank Sinatra in person. No, I don't care what happens.
Right.
And so listen to this, from the Little Club, I got offered to work for a lot of money at PJ's by myself with my guitar.
Jeez,
wow.
So now listen to this, where they put me. They had 2 rooms I don't mind telling you this. They had 2 rooms at PJ's. You walk in, and it's a long, long bar with booths on the side. It was a very nice place. And they had listen to this, they had a 4-piece jazz combo, 4-piece jazz Afro combo.
Okay.
As you walk in. Now, guess where they put me? In the back, where the room sat at about 300 people.
Wow.
By myself with my guitar. No band, no drums, no nothing.
No pressure.
Well, I wish I had some pressure, because I could have used a drummer there, or a bass player,
Yeah.
So they put me there, and I wasn't going to say anything,
Right.
And they booked me for 3 months, and I stayed a year and a half.
Thank you. Well,
Wow. That's
Year and
just
a half.
amazing. Trini.
Just with my guitar. And in fact, when it was time to record, as time went by, Sinatra was coming in with with his high class people. And the first time I saw him, oh God, I couldn't believe it. I didn't get any closer to him than 30 feet, but I wanted just to look at him, and I could see his hat, his beautiful clothes, and his beautiful jewelry and his rings and everything. And I saw him like that about 3-4 times and I never got close to him. I never went to say hello. I was too nervous.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Sean,
I
no
wasn't
surprise.
recording or anything, I was just a local musician.
Wow.
But he came 4 times to see me. On the 4th time, he sent one of his top record producers, Don Costa, to talk to me and offer me an 8-year recording contract.
8 year?
8 years on Reprise Records.
Now, that was the label that Sinatra started, right?
That's a label that he started, and I used to read a lot about the trade papers about what was going on in Hollywood, and I read that Sinatra was losing his. You know what? He had Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., all these big stars, but nobody was selling any records. So now they wanted to sign me up for 8 years, and by the grace of God, I recorded my first album, and that's the biggest seller, multi-million seller, with just me and my guitar on a lot of those songs in my album, Trini Lopez at PJ's.
Jeez, Trini. Now, let me ask you this then, Trini. So at that point, what is it that you think that drew Sinatra to you then, that for him to go to this other producer and say, sign this kid? What was it?
Sign him up, yeah. I have no idea, Sean. I'm a real sincere guy. I don't like to flatter myself at all because my parents were that way. Right. But I just... it was meant to be. It was meant to be. He liked me right away. And then I got to tell you this. Now we're recording. My first album, and Don Costa says, Trini, we're going to record here at PJ's. I said, what? He said, we're going to record here. I said, here at this nightclub? He said, yeah. I said, may I ask you why can't we go to a studio? I couldn't wait to go to a studio on Sunset Boulevard, on Sunset Strip, to record in one of those beautiful studios that everybody was recording Sinatra, everybody. Right. And he said, I'll never forget this. He said, Trini, we want to record all of the excitement that you are creating here at PJ's. We want to put it on wax. I said, well, that makes sense.
Wow. And it obviously worked.
Yeah, I said, but I said, Don, because I knew I had a long contract with him now. I said, but do me a favor. The next album, we got to go into a studio. He said, you got it. I said, okay. So if I had a hammer, went on to be number 1 in 38 countries.
God.
Wow.
The Bamba were famous all over the world, and to this day, I have sold over 100 million records.
Wow. Very few people get to say that, I think, even by today's standards.
Yep.
Because, you hear these numbers of, it sold 40 million records or this or that or whatever, but, but no one, it's rare now that anybody will reach that 100 million, marker nowadays.
Yeah, not even 100 million. That's a rarity. And I have 81 albums out to date, 81 CDs.
How in the heck do you have so many?
I just like to record it, yes.
Wow, Trini.
He's so humble.
Hey, you got into the recording studio and you wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to, my latest album is an album called, and I'd like to send it to you, Sean, if I may.
Oh, please. I'll come to your house and pick it up.
I'll drive.
Thank you. My latest album, I helped write all the songs in the album, and it's called Trini Lopez, all original songs.
So you're now doing originals after all this time?
After all this time.
What took you so long, Trini, to do that?
Yeah. And guess what my next album is going to be? This is going to really surprise you guys. Guess what my next album is going to be?
Instrumentals?
I'm going to be doing it in about another month or two.
Okay.
Trini Lopez sings Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Now that'll be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to come to one of those sessions then.
It's cooler than cool, Steve.
Okay, man. Okay.
Wow, that is just, 81 albums? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 81. Yeah.
And Trini, how old are you right now?
81.
You are 81 and you've
gosh.
done 81 albums.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing an album a year your entire life?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I never thought of that.
Wow.
Holy cow.
That's amazing. And you still have a voice to sing with.
Yeah.
I'm singing better than ever, guys. Right now I have a bit of a sore throat because the hot weather here, and it's very humid in Palm Springs. I have a bit of a sore throat. But I'm singing, thank God, man, by the grace of God. I'm singing better than ever.
Gee, that's awesome, Trini. That really is. That's amazing. That is really amazing.
Sean, when we finish doing this interview, please stay on the line and give me your address, and I'll mail it to you. My secretary will mail it to you.
Absolutely. Definitely will.
Okay.
Let me ask you this now, Trini. Obviously, Frank was a big influence on you, not just as a person. He was your idol and everything. He helped you get, he signed you to his record label.
Yeah.
What do you think would have happened if Frank wasn't there? Do you think you still would have had the career that you've had, but just everything would have been delayed? Or do you think it was just, what do you think you would be today?
The only answer I can give you is it would have been delayed, I think. Because let me tell you, I forgot to tell you this. Well, I'm at PJ's for a year and a half, and during that interim, Sinatra's coming in to see me. But before Sinatra started hearing about me, his valet, George Jacobs, who just put out a book on Frank Sinatra's life, he told Sinatra, he said, you got to come and hear this kid, Frank. You got to come and hear this kid. He's going to blow you away. And so because of his valet, he started coming to PJ's to see me. But a lot of people were talking about me. And listen to this. Before Sinatra gave me my 8-year recording contract, I got an offer to record for a new label coming out called, Fred Astaire's daughter. I can't think of her name right now. Beautiful lady. I met her when I was at the Little Club, and she really liked me, and she became my fan. So now I'm at PJ's, and the daughter of Fred Astaire told Mr. Astaire about me. So Mr. Astaire sent an executive to offer me a recording contract on Ava. Her name was Ava. Thank God I remember. Yeah, Ava Records. Would you believe it? And you know what I did? I said, please tell Mr. Astaire that I'm his biggest fan, but I can't do that. I'm just so sorry, but I can't. And the guy looked at me like I was crazy. And so now he walked away. About a month later, listen to this, before Sinatra, a month later, I'm at PJ working 6 days a week, 3-4 shows a night. Wow. And I never repeated a song. The whole night, from 9 o'clock at night to 2 in the morning.
Wow. Holy cow, Trini.
So now listen to this. So now another guy walks up to me. He says, Mr. Lopez, my name is Moss, Mr. Moss. I said, oh, Mr. Moss, hello. He says, I'm with a new label. My name is Jerry Moss. I'm with a new label, and it's called A&M Records. And at that time, A&M Records, I barely heard of them. He said, have you heard of Herb Alpert? I said, you mean the trumpet player? He said, yeah. He said, well, he's my partner. He's Herb Alpert, A for Alpert, and my name is Jerry Moss for A&M. He said, we're starting a brand new label. We got a brand new big studio. We'd like to sign you up. And I said, oh, Mr. Moss. I said, thank you very much. I said, I'm very flattered, but thank you. I'm sorry I can't do that. And you know why I turned down those 2 labels before Sinatra? Because I wanted to go with a real bigger label. These companies were just getting started.
Yeah, because, I think at that time, too, because Sinatra only had his label out, I think, by the time he signed you for about 3-4 years, correct? Or
yeah, he only had it about 2 years at that time, but they weren't selling any records. But Sinatra was getting a lot of publicity because he owned the label.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, man, there's only one Frank Sinatra.
That's some gutsy moves, though, Trini. To pass up on 2 labels, especially A&M Records.
Yeah. They went on to be, of course, big time.
Right.
Fred Astaire's company never got off the ground, but A&M, of course, did.
Yeah, they lasted for, another, 20, 30 years, I think, before they finally went under.
Oh, yeah.
Trini, you were, in the middle, as your career started to progress and everything, you were in the middle of the golden age of Hollywood. You got to know some of the biggest names in Hollywood. We're obviously Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Elvis, Bob Hope, Jack Benny. The list goes on and on and on. During that whole time, did you ever feel like, geez, I don't know if I'm really a part of this group or not? Did you?
Well, because of my age, I was in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
All these people were in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
So you were hanging out with fogies.
And they were legends, all these big stars. I got an autograph from God, what's the name of that what's the name of that lady that was the first Marilyn Monroe in Hollywood? Mae West.
Oh, Mae West. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
I got an autograph picture from Mae West.
Wow.
I mean, I got autographs. You don't believe the stars from the 30s and 40s. And I kept saying to God, I said, God, thank you so much for allowing me to get to Hollywood when I did. Because if not, I would have missed the golden age of Hollywood.
No, that's very true, Trini. And you know, I think it's just amazing because it just seemed like you were very humble at the time and wondering, geez, do I belong here? Do I not belong here? But yet you seem like...
I wasn't sure about that, but I said, I gotta try, man. And I prayed a lot, guys. I prayed a lot.
I can imagine, and I think your prayers got answered, Trini.
Oh, ever. To this day, God loves me very much.
Yes, I think so.
That's great. You know, Trini, in my past, I had a brother-in-law who worked for a guitar shop, and he started to make musical instruments, and he actually made a mandolin that the group Seals and Croft happened to be in town in Sacramento when we lived there, and they came into a shop looking for a mandolin, and he showed them the one he had made, and they fell in love with it and took it. So there's a lot of musical history, not just in the performing, but also in what you use. And apparently you got the opportunity to design a couple of different guitars for Gibson.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What made that happen?
Again, by the grace of God. By the grace of God. My father, I forgot to tell you, when my father went to that pawn shop and bought that $12 guitar, would you believe it was a Gibson guitar?
Wow.
Wow.
It was a Gibson. Little did I know that 20 years later, 18 years later, whatever, they would come up to me. I was in Chicago, appearing at a beautiful, beautiful nightclub in Chicago, and the big shots from Gibson Corporation came up and had a meeting with me, and they said, Mr. Lopez, we'd like to know if you would be interested in designing your own model for Gibson. And I nearly dropped the phone, and I nearly fell down, too, when I was talking to them.
So would I.
Oh, God, I couldn't believe it. So now I designed the guitar from, and it was a big success. And that's the guitar that I play. I call it the Jazz model. It's a deluxe, Gibson Deluxe, and they're still selling today. And then about 2 years later, Gibson Corporation called me again, and they said, Mr. Lopez, we'd like to know if you would like to design another guitar for us. I said, you know what? You're not going to believe this. I've been thinking about it, and I would like to design a guitar for the rock and roll guys.
Okay.
The rock and roll guitar players.
Right.
And they said, that's a good idea. I said, okay, let's do it. And I did, and that's the standard. They call it the standard Gibson guitar. And guess who plays it? Guess who loves it? Besides David Grohl and the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like, let's see, God, so many of them, if I can remember.
Well, that was
if
just
you guys have heard of anybody that plays my guitar, please tell me.
Yeah, no, that was just it, Tree, because, you know, I did not know, and I'm a guitar guy myself. I mean, I've been playing for 30 years myself, and I did not know that you had your own signature guitar until I saw an interview with Dave Grohl, and that he was saying that he based his model off of your model. And I'm going,
Another guy that played my guitar, is a pretty popular guitar player, is Paul McCartney's guitar player for Wings.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then
and 3 or 4 more go. Bono's guitar player.
Yeah, The Edge from U2. And then I also found out that Lindsey Buckingham plays on your guitar. So why do you
that's
think...
just what
go ahead,
that's someone I went and saw Fleetwood Mac a few years ago at the Honda Center, and just watching Lindsey Buckingham play the guitar is a life treat in and of itself. The way he does that, the way it sounds, and the uniqueness of how he uses that guitar is amazing.
Yeah, he makes me want to put mine down and just say forget it. You know?
Well, don't put it down. Don't put it down.
No. But you know, Trini, after all this time, and I did do a little bit of research on it, that I believe obviously Les Paul is a part of Gibson. And you know, his Les Paul guitar is obviously famous, but yours is right behind his as the one most popular selling guitar.
Me and Les Paul.
What do you think makes your signature guitar model so interesting? Why do you think guitars are drawn to your model?
Oh my God! Can you believe me and Les Paul in the same sentence?
Well, you've done an awful lot of praying, my friend. So you know what? Yes, I can.
Oh God! I'm just amazed, and I thank God. I get on my knees every night, by the way, and I thank God for everything.
Well, that's wonderful. But why do you think guitars nowadays, especially like more modern guitars today, Trini, are drawn to your guitar? Why do you think that is?
They took a liking to it right away. The feel of the neck, the action of the guitar, on and on. I mean, it's a lot of technical things. But listen to this. After all these years have gone by, I got a call. I swear to you, I got a call about a week ago from a lady in Nashville, Tennessee, because Gibson Corporation is in Nashville now.
Yes, yeah. I've actually been to their factory. It's a very nice factory.
You?
Yes, it's really nice.
How about that?
Yeah.
They want to revamp my guitar again.
Wow.
Yeah, they're going to send me a new contract.
Oh, exciting.
How the hell about that?
That's cool. Wow.
Oh my God!
81 albums and a new guitar from Trini Lopez, and it's 2018.
Just keep dishing them out.
Wow. God, boy, that's awesome, Trini. That is just totally neat. Your career then kind of moved in from the 60s going into the 70s, and it seemed like I read somewhere you kind of did like a semi-retirement.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I retired in 1981.
Why did you do that? Was it just because you were getting a little bit tired of the traveling, or was it because the music was changing so much? Why did you make that decision?
It's a very simple question. It's a very simple question. I didn't get tired. I could still do my shows right now if I wanted to, all over the world if I wanted to. But in 1981, I was so bored with all the traveling. Everything, first class, everything, from the limos to the airplanes to the hotels to the castles, on and on and on. And I got bored with the traveling.
Wow.
Not the singing on stage, man. I'm the happiest when I'm on stage.
Right.
But it wasn't the entertainment. It wasn't the entertaining that I got bored with. I got bored with all the travel. I had to get up early. I don't like to get up early.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Really? Steve's the same way.
Exactly.
You know?
If I'm up before 11 or 12, there's something wrong.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to be at a point in my life where I'm bored with that sort of thing.
Well, I hope that you will succeed and do that, because there's not a bigger pleasure than sleeping late.
I'm proud to say I slept till 1:45 today just because I could.
That's right. Yeah.
You got up an hour before Trini did.
I did. Me and Trini are buds.
You know why I like to sleep so much too? When you are sleeping, you don't know from nothing.
Well, that's true. That's it. Yeah, no problems there.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, Steve has that look on his face all the time every time he comes to the studio. So
I just woke up.
We don't have the nerve to tell him he's having a nightmare.
Trini, earlier we briefly talked about Sinatra and how of a big influence he was for you. Did you ever take anybody under your wing, though?
You know, that's really interesting. I have never had. I've seen a lot of great talent out there. Oh, I used to see it all the time from the beginning. From the beginning, I used to see it all the time, and I would just tell them, "Hey, man, keep it up. You're great. You're great." You know, because I was never into a record company. I was never into that part of the business. You know, I was too busy with my own career.
Got it.
I used to travel for 20 years straight, all over the world. 20 years all over the world, without a vacation.
No wonder you got 81 albums. Jiminy Crickets.
Yeah. I stayed busy. I've always stayed busy.
Yeah. I earlier tonight I did a little bit more research on you and everything, and I came across that was something that was very interesting. Last year, you were inducted into the Dallas Songwriters Association Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Do you think you will ever get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, everybody asks me that all the time. I think they're prejudiced. I think they're prejudiced.
There's a good reason.
Yeah. It's funny because we have a friend of ours who comes on the show every now and then, and he actually does something very unique, Trini. He actually breaks down songs. And his name is Christian James Han, and what he does is he'll take a song, a famous song, and let you hear, let's say a Beatles song, for example, and you'll hear just the bass, and then you'll hear just the drums, and just to hear the talent of each individual musician and everything.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion with him because we had him in the week of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was being inducted, and one of my favorite bands was being inducted, which is Bon Jovi. And he goes, I just don't feel like they need to be deserved to be in there. And I asked him, well, why? He goes, it's a difference between influence and popularity. He goes, yes, they've had a wonderful career and they deserved everything that they've owned because of their career. But as far as how much of an influence were they to the music industry? And I said, you know what, based upon that, I can understand, his point of view. But for you, I think there was something unique in where you did influence, I think, an awful lot of people out there because there were not that many, again, Latino performers out there.
Yeah.
And to show that, to say, hey, yes, a Latino can go out and do it and not change his name like Richie Valens did.
Yeah.
And everything. I think that says something, and I think it instilled a lot of things. So I pray by that you do get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for that influence. I really
Thank
do.
you very much. I wouldn't mind. It's a great publicity, and I certainly have influenced a lot of people, a lot of musicians, and a lot of fans all over the world. My fan base, guys, on the internet. Oh my God, day and night, all over the world.
Oh, I love that, Trini. I love that.
I mean, I have fan clubs in Russia, for Christ's sake.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Afghanistan, Arabia, on and on. I mean, you won't believe the countries. Australia. God, I can't even name the countries. There's so many. Yeah. You know what? What I like about what's going on with me? I just thought of it. People just don't forget. They don't forget about me. When I retired in '81. I went to my house where I had this house now that burned not too long ago.
Right.
I went into my home and I just closed the door and I stayed in there for a year. I just didn't go anywhere for a whole year by myself.
Wow.
I want to do that right now.
But listen to this. The phone started ringing again.
Really?
Wow, that's really something.
The phone started ringing again.
That's amazing, Trini.
Yeah. When the movie La Bamba came out, it was during those days when the movie La Bamba came out.
Mm-hmm.
The phone started ringing, and they said, Mr. Lopez, is your life story coming out in a movie? And I said, not that I know of.
No, it's that other Latino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course,
there's a movie it's coming out called La Bamba. I said, oh, that's probably about Richie Valens.
Yeah. And it's funny because, you know what?
Just to go, hey guys, just to go on record.
Yes, sir.
I used to sing La Bamba before Richie Valens did, 10, 15 years before he recorded it.
Really?
Because I was a little older than Richie. My father taught me that song. That's one of the first songs my dad taught me when I was a kid.
Wow. And he beat you to the punch.
And then when I heard the record, La Bamba, on the radio, I said, oh, God, I was real upset. I was really hurt. I said, oh, no, somebody beat me to it. But little did I know that 2-3 years later, I would record it myself, and I made it bigger than Richie Valens worldwide.
That's true. That's very true.
Now, Trini, not don't take anything weird about what I'm about to say, but as we reach the end of our lives, and as we look forward into whatever there may or may not be after we pass on, we think about what we've done overnight. Now, obviously, you've had like an amazing life, done a lot of things, met a lot of people, and probably influenced a lot more people than I'm sure you realize. But what do you personally want to be remembered for?
I just want to be remembered as a nice person.
There you are.
That's all. That's all.
And I would venture a guess personally that Trini, that's why you are that popular.
I think so too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's amazing.
There is a saying that I always liked when I first saw it a long time ago. It's a beautiful saying, and I hope you guys will remember it. The saying goes like this: it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
There you go.
There you go.
Spoken from a legend himself, Mr. Trini Lopez. Trini, I can't tell you, again, as I said before, I can't tell you what this interview means to me personally.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Being a musician, growing up, it's so funny because my parents graduated high school in 1957 and 1958, so they were at the beginning of rock and roll. Their tastes were completely different. But one thing that they did enjoy, and I always enjoyed hearing stories about them going to PJs, watching you perform. And like I said earlier, my parents bought the record. I had to listen to it as a kid, to the point that I actually wore out the record.
Oh, that's great.
It started skipping, and not because I didn't know how to put the needle on, but because I literally wore out the record.
Oh, that's very flattering.
And for my mom's birthday a couple of years ago, I actually found another original reprise record of Trini Lopez live at PJ's, and now that hangs in my mother's hallway.
Oh, really? Are your parents still alive?
My mom is. Unfortunately, I lost my father about 10 years ago.
Oh, so sorry to hear that.
But they, like I said, Trini, they would go down to PJ's, watch you perform, enjoyed it, and they pass on those stories to me. So for me to sit here and hear your voice, talk to you, and for all of us to hear these wonderful stories, it is such an honor to have you on our podcast, and I'm going to treasure this for the rest of my life. I know I will. And
thank you.
And I
thank
cannot.
you very much. I'm very flattered, and I thank you just as much as you thank me.
Thank you, Trini. And I cannot wait to go out to Palm Springs and see one of your concerts and meet you in person.
Okay. I don't work that much, but we can party anyway.
Well, there you go.
Hey, you know what? We'll bring the beer.
Yeah, man.
I'll bring the girls.
Budweiser.
Budweiser, okay?
I do too.
Oh, well, Mr. Lopez, thank you so much again, and we appreciate it. And congratulations on your 81st record, and I can't wait to hear the next one when you do Frank Sinatra.
Thank you very much.
Show applause.
Say hello to your friends. They seem to be nice people, I can tell.
Thank you so much, Trini.
It was such a pleasure talking to you, Trini, and you are a good guy, and I will always remember that.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trini. It was very nice talking to you.
Thank you so much, Trini.
And Sean, stay on the line so I can get your address.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Okay.
Alrighty. And that wraps it up, guys. And, we'll kind of take it from there.
Wow. Yeah. It was a great guy.
And he's going to be missed.
Yeah.
He is definitely going to be missed. Like I said, he left a great impact on our lives with that interview, and to talk to him privately, and like I said, afterwards, and to keep in touch with him. And I'm just sad that we never got the chance to go out and see him in Palm Springs. Yeah. And that's where it's going to be at for today. Thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed the replay of our interview with Trini, and you can realize how special it was to us, and to Steve and I, and of course Zach and Skylar, who was in the room. that night.
That's right.
That day too. So she got to hear a living legend herself for a young girl, doing radio and everything. So, so we're gonna end it now. We're gonna play 2 more songs. We're gonna play Trini's famous version of La Bamba, and also the song that he wrote with Joe called "Here I Am," which is pretty much like an autobiography type of song that Joe is now saying it's kind of like his theme song. So in the meantime, you can go to our website, yourweeklydose.com. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at yourweeklydose1. And you can find me, Sean, on all the social media at Sean Roberts HC. And Steve, they can find you.
Find me on Facebook, Steve Silva, and Twitter at SilvaLining69.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go have another cry now. And in the meantime, we're going to end it. And until then, guys, we will see you next week. And please, cover up, wear the masks. I mean, it doesn't matter. It took a legend like Trini. So please be careful and be good to each other.
I have one last thing to say, just for Debbie and I, friend Chris Eckenrod. Our hearts go out to you.
Yes.
She lost her 26-year-old son to a drunk driver on Wednesday. And, there are so many things out there that can get you. Don't waste your time that you have. Just love each other.
Life is too short, people. Life is too short, and enjoy every moment that you can. Steve and I both had a rough week, so just be good to each other. I know it's a crazy world out there right now, especially with the election coming up, and everybody's kind of hating each other because of Trump and because of Biden and everything. Life is too short, people. Life is too damn short. Go out, enjoy it, be with the ones that you love, and love each other for those good reasons. All right, till next week, we'll see you then.
Bye, world.
This is the album announces by popular demand more Trini Lopez at PJ's. How did you start and where?
I started in Dallas, Texas about 11 years ago.
Long ago I was just a child. I grew up fast with so many music dreams. Played guitar and hoped and prayed I got my chance to sing to the world. People listen as I travel far. I help my family with the money I made. My life is music, and I thank you all. I'll keep on singing till the heavens call for me. Here I am. I'll keep singing to the world. Here I am till the hands of time. Songs make your world come alive, and your soul will never die. So many people, they have smiled when I sang all my songs. Here I am for you. Yesterday has come and gone. Years have passed, but my voice is strong to sing for you. The memories do echo loud. My love for life is to hear the crowd sing with me. All my years are my songs from the heart. Here I am. I'll keep singing to the world. Here I am till the hands of time. Some dropped a tear inside when I sang a lullaby. The day I finally closed my eyes, please remember all my songs. Here I am for you. I bow my head to my mom and dad. Trinidad will never, never leave. Dallas, Texas is home for me. Gave birth to my music and family. Here I am. I'll keep singing to the world. Here I am till the heavens call for me. And I thank you all.